SI had a piece written by Conor Orr. Every NFL team, one bold prediction, 32 prognostications around the league. And for the Commanders, what Orr wrote was that they would sign wide receiver Mike Evans in free agency, the former Tampa Bay Buck Hall of Famer to be.
Yeah.
He says, despite interest from the Bills, Washington can commit more with breathing room under the salary cap. The push to get Jaden Daniels to a Super Bowl before his rookie contract ends up expiring is real. He said Evans is one of the most quarterback-friendly receivers in the league. I don't think there's anything I disagree with there. I think the Bills make the most sense for him. He's absolutely very quarterback-friendly. He's like a tight end in that way. He's a nice comfort blanket, basically, for a passer.
When he's covered, he's open.
Does he know that they think receivers at 30 shouldn't make any money?
That's the question.
Didn't they not want to pay Terry McLaurin because he's an old head? He's like 3 years younger than Mike Evans, man. Mike Evans is about to be in his age 33 season. I have a hard time believing the Commanders have a ton of interest. Now, could they do the Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz bit where they sign him for 1 year? I guess. But if you're Evans, I'll bet you're looking for 2 or more.
You would think. Now, if he decides he cherry picks a situation like this one, is into the cut of David Blau's jib and is all about Jaden Daniels, maybe. I think there's better places for him to go. Buffalo, I think, makes a lot of sense, as might Baltimore or a couple spots. But the fact is, when he's healthy, that's a big if. Now, hold on. He just missed a whole bunch of games this past year. But when he's right, Mike Evans goes for over 1,000 yards and between 8 and 12 touchdowns. That's valuable. That matters. That helps. And it's the way that he does it, too. It's the contested catch down the field, even though he doesn't run that 4-3, 4-4 anymore. It doesn't matter. Still getting behind people. He could still go get it. And that threat matters an awful lot. It's the thing. Now, it would come differently if it's Alec Pierce, who's sprinting past people. It's differently if it's healthy Tyreek Hill or some of the other bona fide deep threats in the league. But Evans doing it, it's, again, when he doesn't have a step, he's got a step because he's 6'5", 230 pounds.
He missed 3 games 2 seasons ago. He missed 9 games last year. 2 seasons ago, he went for 1,004 yards, and if you remember in Week 18, they're like throwing him the ball a million times.
Oh, yeah, force feeding.
They got the ball back at the end of the game and had to do this special play where they threw it to him just to get over 1,000 on 74 catches, about 13 yards per. Last year, he was productive at times. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's not, but it was 30 grabs for 360 in 8 games on 62 targets. So some of the numbers are reflecting that he has hit a wall.
Yes.
I need to know what price point is. Also, if he comes in here, he's your second wide receiver. I'd like to do something that has a chance to outperform that. Like, I view him now as probably a 50-plus catch, 600 kind of yard red zone threat. He could catch 6-7 touchdowns next year maybe. But I'm going to take a bigger swing than Mike Evans, and they have to at some point stop signing guys that are 33 years old. I would like the point to be now. I would like to stop signing 33-year-olds sooner rather than later.
I'm 100% with that. But we've talked about this a bunch. Yes, I want them to major in that. I want them to major in younger, faster, more, under more team control, bigger swings that go longer. There is still room for as you said, the Bobby Wagner 1-year role, right, or the 2-year role. I don't know that this is the right fit. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'd have to know, is last year the beginning of the end, or was it a blip because he suffered a freak injury, wasn't quite himself? I don't know the answer to that. They're going to have to find that out. But if he's right, that skill set is still really, really valuable. You could do that and still major in the thing that you and I are talking about, which is younger and faster. Almost everywhere else, this is a nice weapon for Jaden Daniels to have opposite Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I actually think if you're going to have, let's just say, 2 of those Bobby Wagner types on your team, this is a good fit.
Yeah.
Because even at 33, he's 6'5" and 230. He is so different than anything else you'll have on your roster. We said earlier we were joking about Ovi. If he's 50, he could come out on the power play and score a goal. Mike Evans in the red zone 5 years from now is going to be one of the better red zone threats from the 10-yard line and in, running fades and things in the league. That is what he does. It's what's going to put a gold jacket on him eventually in the Hall of Fame. But while I think it'd be a fit, it'd be great for your young quarterback in the same way Ertz was this mentor and this teacher and helped Jaden Daniels learn the game, and this is why we're doing it at this depth, and think about this when I'm coming out of this break. Evans could do all those things. I love that. If you're spending money, my take on that is you're going to spend good money to get Mike Evans. spend it on someone who's got some tread on the tires, man. Like, let's take a swing on someone who might be able to go out there and compete with Terry McLaurin for the most targets in a game and push him for the best receiver on your roster. Now, do I want to break the bank on Pierce, who you love? Not necessarily. Juwan Jennings, to me, or Mike Evans, who are kind of similar profile, I would say. Big physical receivers.
You'd go Jennings at this point, right?
Yeah, just based on
younger,
age.
yeah.
Like, Mike Evans is an old player who's declining. It's hard to argue against that. Doesn't mean he can't help you, but is he old? Yes. Is he declining? Yes.
Do I still have to pay the premium? Keenan Allen, before the world knew that he wasn't the same guy, Keenan Allen, a similar profile, different receiver, different player, obviously, but still, hey, pretty nice year in L.A., not quite doing what he did before, but still good. Goes to Chicago, kind of falls off. It took a little while for everyone to catch on. No, this is no longer underutilized or used differently. This is now a guy without the same skill set. And I'm wondering that about Evans. Again, as you said, Hall of Famer. He's 21st all-time in receiving yards. I mean, a double-digit touchdown threat every time he takes the field. He with a reasonable season, with 600 yards, I think he'll finish top 15 of all time. I mean, that's a Hall of Famer. His credentials are already set if he stops playing today. Did we watch the cliff last year, or was that an injury-plagued aberration, and he's still useful, and do I have to pay a premium for that? People paid a premium for 2 years for Keenan Allen to only find out, no, not the same guy anymore, right? That's what I wonder.
So I'm seeing some very differing projections on his salary, but the first one I'll grab here from Fox Sports suggests he could play 2 years at $28 million, so about $14 million per. I just think you could spend that $14 million more wisely at wide receiver. I don't hate that number. I don't love that number. I certainly don't like that number a whole lot. There's another projection from The Athletic that's way higher than that,
right,
where they're saying, it starts at $18
in the 20s,
million per year, and he could probably get 2 and 48. You're talking about like $24 million for a season. I don't think he's going to get close to that.
I mean, Spotrack's got it in the 13s, which I think I would do that. I'd hold my nose a little bit, but I think I would do
13, that. 13, yeah. I mean, that's fair. I think that would work. But I think I would take the over on that.
Right. I think name value, pedigree, resume. He's picking and choosing between. Because I guarantee there'll be a handful of suitors go, you're the difference maker to put us over the top. We're not going to make you deal with 100 targets. We'll have you deal with 75 or 80, and you could still be really helpful.
I think he's going to make $14 to $18 million a year.
That's what I'd guess.
And if it's at the lower end of that, I'm okay with it. If it's at the higher end of that, I'm not necessarily. But also, I don't like the precedent of a year ago.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You screaming at me that you can't pay receivers that are 30, even though they've bled for you and sweat for you and done everything right. And now a 32-year-old who's about to turn 33 comes available, who's never played a snap here, and you get in line with everybody else to try to pay him a bunch of money? I know it's a different amount of money, but
the point
let's have
stands.
some consistency on the position and how we view aging.
That's how the optics would look. I would argue there are subtle enough differences that they could maybe win in a court of law, but just the big picture. So it's like you drag Terry through all of this stuff, and all of us by transitivity.
Yeah, you said receivers age at 30. Okay, this guy's 33.
He's 33.
What are we doing?
He'll make less than half, according to this, of what Terry will cost. But but the point I think you're making still stands. It's what it looks like. It's you jumped in line, you signed up to say, please, can we sign you? Versus, not you, the guy that's done everything right here. We're gonna make you go through it, whether we're right or not.
He's Danny. I'm Grant. You're listening to The Fan. All right, I want to get into our normal double play segment via winning off the field next. We do it every single day at 3:45, and on Fridays we let you tell us something fun that happened during your day that put a smile on your face that nobody else would care about. That's how you win off the field. Fill up the phones at 800-636-1067. Send them in at Grant H. Paulson at Funny Danny. We'll read some of our best responses. Winning off the field is next, live from Capital One Arena.